We're going live.
Do it.
We're live at our new time. That's right, babies and germs, because that's what we call you now, babies and germs.
Babies have a lot of germs, so
they
that
do.
works. Yep.
They're little grossies. They're grossies.
Yeah.
Hope you all doing well. We decided that our 8 p.m. Central Time start time was very arbitrary.
Yeah.
And now that Justin's an hour ahead, why are we starting at 8 Central? Why can't we start at 7 Central? Because honestly, I would prefer to get earlier too, because I go to bed early.
Yeah.
And I found myself being like, fuck. Afterwards, I'm like, I'm really tired and I have to get up early. Like, let's just start a little earlier.
I look at this as we're moving into the prime time slot.
Right. We've earned it.
7 Central.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are the beginning of prime time, usually when you slot one of your best shows, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, here's Zitty. Welcome.
Hey.
Yeah.
That was a clip from Zinni farting on one of the video games.
I think
right?
so. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. You grabbed that.
That was one of her less subtle ones, you know?
I thought you were going to say it was one of her more subtle ones.
Because all the other ones, they pierce your eardrums.
Yeah.
The decibels are through the roof.
It's cavernous, but man, was that subtle.
Yeah. Whew. So, and my favorite thing was, just that after, a whole week of playing Minecraft, we finally figured out who built onto Noah's house. And even though Zinni took the rap for it, it was me. So.
The thing is, I still blame Zinni.
I am a stinker. Wow, that's crazy that YouTube was like, oh, we better hold off on the word stinker.
Wait, did they ask you to approve
It's like I had to approve stinker. I'm like, all right. I mean, sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I thought for sure everyone knew it was me and they were just being nice. Not saying anything about it.
Let's all just let Doug have this.
You're like, oh, we're so glad he's here. Let's let him have it,
He needs this.
So, yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun playing that on Saturdays. So, it's been a real treat.
The shorts that you did have looked fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, debug mode. Okay, but who built the giant cobblestone Doug the mystery lives on? Yeah. That's something new because Noah wasn't able to make the stream last time. He's like, I'm really tired. I don't think I can be on for 2 hours. He's like, no big deal. So I was like, I called dibs on your house. So I, we were going to do stuff and then Slotty just made it into a monstrosity. And at the end of the night, he's like, you should come check it out. And I looked and right out in front in gravel, it's spelled Doug's. Just out in front like a big old sign. And he built a giant gravel tower on top of his house. It just looks horrible. I was like, okay, well.
I love it.
That's there. Welcome, Debug Mode. Glad to have you here. I think I know who that is, but I'm not sure. I've got a pretty good idea. I'm 80% sure I know who Debug Mode is because the only person that would know that is someone who's been in there. And I think I know who that might be, right?
Is it Zinni's other handle?
Maybe. Gravel's the classiest material. I agree.
I'm not going to argue with that, Debug Mode.
It is the basis for most paved roads. So, it's really the building blocks of America.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Infrastructure bill. Build back better. I was going to follow that up with a let's go Brandon, but that was also kind of a continuing joke from the stream, which I'm like, I don't know if that'll be good. Yeah. So, y'all are hilarious. Well, thank you, Zinni.
Oh, no, you are.
Oh, thank you so much.
Justin's not happy.
You heard it here. You know what's crazy is Justin and I realized that we both have two different versions of that.
Yeah, Justin's not happy.
And I won't lie, I like yours better.
Do yours again?
All right, yours is a little quicker. So, all right, one second. Here we go.
Justin's not happy. How do we have two of those? I just don't understand.
I think you did it. I think you did it twice, and I got one, and I think I dropped one. I don't know. Somehow I edited two of them. So there you go.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm
not going to waste too much brain power on that.
Yeah. It makes sense, but it also doesn't at the same time. So here we are.
We have a lot of things. We don't know how we got some of them. Some of them we do know, Some of them are just kinks
Fuck me, slutty.
from certain fans,
Yeah.
community members, who like to just walk around. Now that they're shooting blanks, they can walk around and just put their dick in whatever.
I've put my dick in worse.
Right.
Exactly.
Some of those people are saints, you know,
They are.
leaders of our community, pillars of humanity.
This is going somewhere.
It's really not. But
okay.
I was just like saying that because he's shooting blanks, he's now a pillar of the community.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right?
He's a big stone pillar on top of Noah's house.
That's right. And at the end of the day, when he walks around,
I'm showing some signs of being fucking wet.
that's what people say. Always gets me. Always gets me. Hey, Ryan, what's up, man?
Zinni
How are
wants
you?
to know, don't you have a clip from me? We do, Doug.
Oh, you're right. We do.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's gonna go fuck that body.
There it is.
But that's not the one I was thinking of.
Wait.
Pee on me, daddy.
Nope, not that one.
Oh, okay.
People can't get enough gobby.
There he goes.
Nope.
I will haunt your butt.
That is not it either.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
That is no.
All right, chill your tits.
That's Ashlyn Seahafer.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's a person. But I don't think it's in.
Yeah, I do. I meant to pull that. There was a clip of Zinni going, "Don't worry about it," which I thought would be a nice addition to the library.
Gotcha.
So
I was referring to the cavernous fart.
Oh, I know.
There's Zinni's clip.
Yeah.
God.
Classics.
Yeah.
Classics. Oh, the classics. All right. I think it's time.
You got Tom Cruise on there?
Oh, yeah, of course. You know.
God damn it.
Tom Cruise.
Still, the offer's out there. If anyone can name what that's from,
Tom Cruise.
you get a free T-shirt from
When
us.
Tom Cruise was on Oprah.
God damn it! As he jumps on.
Damn it.
Oh, so good, so good. All right, let's get this show on the road.
I'm
You ready?
sufficiently warmed up.
Me too. Here we go. That's right. I gotta remember. Hit record. There we go. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug,
I'm Justin.
and we're excited. We're super pumped. This is great. If you're just listening to the audio version of this, or maybe even just watching this on YouTube, good news. We're streaming an hour earlier.
You're welcome.
It's more for us. Good welcome for us, because now
Right.
we can go to bed earlier, which is good because we're old.
We're giving people are getting a fresher version of us.
Mhm.
An hour earlier, you're getting a little bit more energy packed in there.
And I like to think that people just, maybe it was, people on Eastern time zone, gosh, man, it starts at 8, it's done around 9:30. I mean, that's a lot, now it's a little earlier, come on
Eastern
in.
time would have been starting around 9,
Yeah.
not around 10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's right. I know math.
I got you. Now
Time and space are a mystery to me.
It starts around 8 and it's done at 9:30. Now it's a good thing. People
Now
are
it's a
saying
good
that with elation.
That's what they're saying. That's what
Yeah.
they're really saying. People are saying other things.
What are they saying?
And I want to say this. I want to get this done off the top of the show, right?
Okay.
Listen, we got a lot of feedback on last
Mhm.
we'll week's episode about the Rings of Power and the
Mm-hmm.
Butthurt Boys. And I want to say this. I want to say this to all of you. Maybe I should do this, we'll do this like this. That's not what I wanted to do.
What
All
voice
right.
you going?
Hold on.
Because
Justin vamp for me.
Oh, yep, absolutely. We'll talk about the Butthurt Boys right now. Oh, it's so sore. All up in that.
All right. Good job. All right.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
Very good. Thank you, Justin. Okay. All right. Here we go. Listen. We heard you. Okay. You were thoughtful. You left comments on our YouTube channel. You left comments on our TikTok. I think our Instagram is still, since it got that flagged of hate speech, doesn't get the same amount of views anymore. So I think something's going on with that. So nothing there. But primarily in the YouTube comments, I want to say we heard you. All right. And I want to say that I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the watch time. And we heard you loud and clear. And Justin and I will make this commitment to you.
Mhm.
We will keep watching the show, The Rings of Power, and we will keep enjoying it. Thank you for your time.
It's a solemn promise.
Yes. Yeah. We got some fun engagement from folks on last week's episode.
I thought you. What were you prepping? Was there? I thought there was going to be some sort of a drop or something.
No.
right, cool.
I realized I went to a single shot of me,
Oh, got it.
like addressing them like the president, you know,
Oh, you
and I
really,
switched over. I'm like, fuck, I didn't set that up because I don't normally do that. And I was like, hold on, it was just a blank screen. Cool. Anyway, I was like, let me just add that in real quick. I'm like, cool, we're good to go now.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting that the YouTube algorithm seemingly chose to serve it to the people who we may or may not have been speaking about. So
Yeah. There was there were some feisty people.
there were some
there's-
people who had their own opinions.
There were some spicy comments. And to that I'll say, listen. And actually, I want to make a special shout out. I had actually a very good civil dialogue with someone on TikTok when we posted it to TikTok, and that I want to call out that person's handle because they were really cool. Their name was Blutzwave, Blutzwav, Blutzwave. They and I went back and forth on like our thoughts on how this stuff works and just back and forth. It's incredibly civil. And at the end of it, they gave some really great constructive feedback on the show. And I literally said, now that's the constructive criticism I'm looking for. I can get behind that perspective. And they go, you know what? This has been a very civil discourse. Thank you. Have a good day. I go, you too. It was really great.
That's fantastic.
And I appreciated it.
That.
It was very cool. Because in general, we didn't get that from people. So it was
Definitely
very...
not the YouTube comments.
No, they were pretty spicy. But hey, whatever. I think the one thing I just want to say on that one more time is like, hey, we're not forcing people to like this show. Okay, you either like it or you don't. Just don't have shitty arguments as to why you don't like the show. Like, there's a black person. Okay, that's not a good reason. All right, and we could debate the lore of it all day long, which is what this guy did on TikTok. They were like, hey, my issues are that Galadriel, that's not how she is in the lore. And they brought up a lot of details. They're like, she's supposedly very like calm, collected. She has been all the time. She wasn't necessarily portrayed as a warrior. By the way, I've never read this. I don't know if it's true, but they're like, she was never necessarily portrayed as a warrior. She was always very even-keeled and level-headed. And they're like, if she were to get a Ring of Power now, she would just nuke everybody. And that's not how she is. And part of me is like, true. I go, but maybe we'll see that change throughout the show. Right now, pretty angry about a lot of things, and I'd say understandably so.
Sure.
So it'd be interesting to see if there is an arc there where she comes a lot more chill and whatever. So that kind of criticism, I'll never get mad at that sort of stuff. If someone wants to say it's bad writing, I'm like, prove it. You just can't say it's bad writing. And
there are some things that are, I would say a lot of the time some of the time bad writing is subjective. Like what you may think is bad writing, I may go, actually, I enjoyed that. I think we can all agree there are certain things that are just unequivocally bad writing. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's no real argument. Everyone's kind of in universal agreement. This one I would say is a little bit more subjective. Like, I don't know. I kind of like the poetic language, I don't have that much, stake in this because it's not necessarily my world I live in. The Lord of the Rings is not a universe that I am overly familiar with. As one person called out, if you're going to comment on it, you may want to watch more than 17 minutes of the show. To that I say, you've obviously never seen our show before because we're under-researched and we're proud of it.
Also, that person missed the fact that I had watched the whole show. Yes. So,
and look, I have since watched all of the first episode, so I'm fully ready to debate the first episode.
There you go.
And I've watched 8 minutes of the second, so I'm fully ready to debate that.
You're chugging your way along. All right.
Yeah. I'm ready to comment on all of episode 3.
There you go. Yeah. So anyway, I would say that was a very successful episode. And
it was great.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And still open to civil discourse on it, on thoughts. And again, you don't have to love it. We're not requiring you to love it. And if you have issues with it, I hope it's good because I don't know the source material. You know, you want to talk Sandman? I'll talk source material all day. You want to talk The Boys? Jill just finished season 3 of The Boys, and we were just having all sorts of talks last night. Where I was like, well, you know, in the comic, you know, I was doing that thing.
Yeah.
You know, I can talk days around that, but I don't know the source
That thing
material
you do
for
all the time.
that thing I do. I don't know the source material for The Rings of Power or Lord of the Rings or any of that sort of stuff. So for me, I'm basing all my knowledge off of the movies that I've seen many times. And I'm very familiar with those, but I don't know the source material, so I don't have any frame of reference.
And generalized reading that you've done about the source material.
Yes, exactly.
Not deep dives into the actual
I've gone to a wiki to learn about Durin's folk, you know, like I know, you know, like Durin's Bane, you know, all that sort of shit. I know a little bit here and there, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. So anyway, that was fun.
For a civil discourse, you're also open for civil discord.
Indeed. Civil discord.
People want to join us on Discord.
They do. As long as you're not a crypto spam bot. Please don't be a crypto spam bot. But you can check us out on our Discord. Link is in the description down below. You can find all of our details. You can find our socials, everything at MindGap Podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're up to 215 subscribers, so we're doing something right. Didn't get any subscribers after that last episode, but that's probably for the best. So yeah, that's a great way to support us. You can also check us out on our Patreon, patreon.com/MindGapPodcast. You can be one of the cool patrons like Tom McIntyre, Richie Armour, Zinni, Slutty Bartfast, Almighty Crit. You could be one of those cool people. You can also check out our merch at redbubble.com. Just type in MindGap Podcast when you're there. Pick yourself up something nice. And we also live stream the podcast episode now on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I also host a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, which has been fun, has led to some very silly moments. I've got a really fun short that will be coming out sometime this week. I haven't decided when. It's probably one of the dumbest moments I've ever put together, but it's also one of my favorites. So it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, right. Normal people may see this at some point and be like, Jesus, man, what's wrong with you? But they say that about anything. You know, whenever I brought it, like, for some reason, when we bring up Pokemon on the show, someone's always like, Jesus Christ, 2 grown men talking about Pokemon on YouTube. I'm like, we don't even know Pokemon. Like, people are just, I'm like, how else do you want to talk about this, man? Like,
to say we're talking about Pokemon, I feel like is a stretch.
Like, grown men discussing Pokemon. I'm like, I'm making fun of Snob. Like, that's all I'm doing.
Snom.
Yeah, it's the best.
The punching bag of MindGap.
The fuck pillow of MindGap. So
you know what? That's more accurate.
That's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
So I think this Saturday we actually might be doing a What the Dub. So which would be good. Been a while since we've done that. And then we'll always, I think Minecraft's always a fun place to go back into and do, but I'm also like, you know what? We haven't done that in a while. I'd love to do some Jackbox again. I know the new Jackbox game's coming out next month.
Oh boy.
So you can bet your ass that's going to be coming up. And I want to do another Left 4 Dead 2 stream for October, for like an October Halloween stream. So we got some good stuff coming down the pipeline. So that's Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Come join me and the other MindGap All-Stars as we have some fun. Some of those games like What the Dub and Jackbox, you can play along with us. So come hang out. It'll be a good time.
I can say, as someone who has not attended many video game streams, the What the Dub is probably that's one that keeps me coming back every time I can. So if you can join for that one, go check that one out, because
we've got some heavy hitters in this crew.
Yeah,
got some heavy hitters that we have some good times. I am the least consistent in that game. Like I cannot keep the funny going for an entire game. Yeah. I'll have a good round or two and then I fall off the board. So it's always it's just the trials and tribulations of a champion.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be. Oh, by the way, Natalie, my daughter, wanted me to make sure to show you all this cool friendship bracelet that she made for me.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
That looks
she goes,
wonderful.
Make sure you show all your friends tonight. So there
Great.
you go. Mission accomplished.
You got some rainbow on there. You got some Bulls colors.
A little bit of everything on there. So
I love it.
Woo-woo! You know what I love,
What's
Justin? It has been a whole year. It's been uno años. Nope. I don't know. Whatever. 1 year since you and I joined this app, which is going to get, boy, I wish we were big enough to be like, this is not They're going to get free promotion, but they are going to get free promotion.
They are.
We joined the Center app, and we've been at it, man. We've been at it for a whole year, just lifting those weights, you know?
Yeah. Lifting those weights.
Just getting swole, you know?
Did you last time we worked out? Did you record me? Because I feel
Maybe.
like that's another Justin sound rep right there.
I mean, that was just my neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah. On date night?
Are they still? They're good. They're in your basement, I assume.
Yeah.
Basement. But
I mean, I've soundproofed it, but that was before I soundproofed it. So
sure, that's
yeah.
why you soundproofed it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kevin, get back down there.
Whatever. That's where the intern's been for the last 3 years.
Shit.
Yeah.
The cat's out of the bag.
Damn it.
It was me. I have him trapped.
No, it has been 1 year of lifting and doing burpees.
Yeah. I it's time for I feel like that should be the official sound for the fitness update.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Yeah.
scream.
All right, it's time for another Justin and Doug fitness update.
I like it because it seems like the right length, you know?
It's long enough to take a sip of water.
Yeah, it's like cool. That's like 7 seconds. Nice.
Yeah.
So a year ago, a little over a year ago, last March 2021, March 2nd to be precise, I decided to go on a fitness journey. I joined Noom, and I decided I needed to stop being a gross human being, and I started getting a better relationship with food, started moving around a lot, and I lost a significant amount of weight pretty quickly. And then in May of 2021, I joined a gym, but I wasn't doing anything really structured. I was kind of just like going in there and doing the classic of Doug's greatest hits of lifting, and I didn't really have, I didn't really know what I was doing.
All the stuff you learned back in wrestling.
Yeah, I like doing this and I like doing that, and I had a personal trainer for like a couple of weeks and everything, and it was fine, but I didn't really have any direction. And honestly, my diet wasn't matching what I needed to do for this kind of stuff. So I really wasn't seeing a lot of gains. And then you messaged me and you were like, hey, do you know this app called Center? Apparently Chris Hemsworth started it. And I was like, you have my attention. And I did a quick look at their website and I was like, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And on, I think this very day, last year, September 13th, as of when we're recording this, is when we signed up together. And I have been nonstop just into it since that day. I have gone through the beginner weightlifting program. I went through the intermediate weightlifting program twice. I've gone through the advanced weightlifting program once, and I'm about to finish up the second round of it, which, by the way, didn't realize they add on an additional 3 weeks when you do it again. And this fucking stuff is hard.
Wait a second. So if you do the intermediate one twice, the second time you do it, they add on an additional 3 weeks?
I don't feel like they did the second time I did it, but I think that's what they're doing now. They're like, oh, you're going to do it again? Great. We're going to add more.
So it's not moving from intermediate to advanced. It's the fact that you're doing it a second time.
Correct.
Okay.
Because I did it, this is my second time. So the programs I'm doing are 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 3 phases, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And then the last week is just like an offloading or a deloading where you don't lift. You just do some cardio stuff and stretching just to kind of let your body recoup. Okay. Now this one's 13 weeks. And I'm in the middle of week 11. And I was fine. And then this stuff that I'm doing is fucking hard. It's really hard. It's kicking my ass really bad.
Having you do?
Well, I think what it is, I think the thing that's tricky for me is the reps have gone up.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks because you're like, all right, so instead of like 8 or 10 reps, it's like you're doing 12. Mm-hmm. And then what they do on some of the lifts is you do like, all right, 12 reps, take a minute rest, 12 reps, take a minute. You do that like 3 times and then you do 3 more sets, but it's like, okay, 12 reps, 10-second rest, 6 reps, 10-second rest, 4 reps, and then wrap it up. Yeah. And by the time you're like, like today I was just doing like, rows. I'm like, and it's just they've added like these little extra things in there where you're like, fuck me, like they're really hitting you hard in the muscle groups, and it's been a challenge. Like I felt more beat up than I ever have in this round.
Good.
Going through it, and I'm like, oh god damn, like
because that's a good thing, because there are times where, like, when you first start, like, in earnest, you're unbelievably sore. Anyone that started a workout before is just, what am I doing? You especially like the first like 2-3 weeks that you start working out, from nothing to that, you swing your legs over your bed and you're like, I have nothing in my legs. I can't stand on these things. You're just sore. Everything is achy. And then after a while, you hit the stasis where you're like, my body's in a perpetual state of like, it's like my shoulder's a little tight because I did a thing, but I'm fine. And you forget how much that feeling of like, wow, I've stressed my muscles, like how much you kind of miss that. And it sounds like they're getting you back into that with this. They're
well,
really
I've heard
finding a way to kind of like hit you again.
I've heard that you want to kind of keep your body on edge so it doesn't necessarily know like what's coming, because if, like you said, my understanding, again, I'm not a fitness expert, but the idea is if you keep doing the same thing all the time, you're not actually challenging your body.
Right.
And your body isn't actually progressing at the way that it should. And with this, you would have thought that I just started from zero with some of the things that I've done. And because I've done, like, for example, chest workout was, like the last phase was, bench machine, right? I think it was like 8 or 10 reps. And then it was like 5 push-ups, but like at a very slow pace, like 5 seconds down, 1 second up. And that's pretty brutal unto itself. And now it's like this round's like, okay, great. 12 reps and then 8 push-ups, 12 reps, 8 push-ups, 12 reps, 6 reps, 4 reps, 8 push-ups. I'm like, fuck. Like, it's just like those extra reps and everything like that. They kill. And then there's just additional things that I'm doing like on top of that at the end. And then that one, they add in like 2 rounds of like real quick shot cardio at the end. It's like, do 12 jackknives as quick as you can, and then do 12 bicycles, and then do spider lunges or whatever, spider climbers for 30 seconds, and then do it again as fast as you can. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And, like, for the leg days, it ends with, all right, 20 reps of calf raises, 10-second rest, 15 reps of calf raises, 10-second rest, 10 seconds, 5, and then you're done. And you would have thought that I had run a marathon by the way I was walking. Like, I seriously, because it always hits me 2 days after. I might feel a little sore the next day, but it's always 2 days. I'm just like, fuck, why is it hurting going down the stairs? I'm like, Jesus, I have done calf raises, but I realize I'm like, I will do 8 to 10 in combination with another exercise and then a minute rest. 8 to 10, so it's not like, oh, you're going to be doing, 60 reps within a matter of 40 seconds, basically,
It's your body's not prepared for that.
Yeah. So it's been, it's been interesting, and it's I don't know, I felt extra tired. I've felt extra beat up, which I think is probably a good thing. But all in all, I've the nutrition on the app has been phenomenal. It's helped me, again, I feel like so many great foods. And if you want to check out some of them, I posted them on our Discord in the recipes section. You can find some of those listed there. But that's helped me a ton, because I feel like the food is good. It's filling. Their nutrition plans have helped me a lot to, understand like when should I be snacking, and also making some delicious snacks, healthy snacks. And I feel like my weight has gone up. When I started, I was 289. My lowest I got was 227. Now I'm up right just probably around 238, 239. It's kind of where I've been hovering. Okay. So I'd like to see that number go lower, but at the same time, too, I'd also like to believe that I've put on some muscle. So
I feel like that has to be the case.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
It's real easy for me to be like, nah, you're good, man. It's all muscle. I'm like, is it though? Is it, Doug? The guy who made homemade ice cream and pulled pork 2 weekends ago, like someone was visiting, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make him pulled pork, so. I have my treats, but I just try to keep it, keep it at a reasonable level. That's my goal. I want to live my life and enjoy, the food that I eat.
What's
Always
the
fighting
point?
off the hunger demons, but
Yeah. I'd messaged you the other day and I was just like, hey man, so for me in this journey, I started it because I was going to the gym and I was doing the same thing as you. I wasn't on as hardcore of a fitness journey as you, but I knew I was uncomfortable. I'd put on, a few years back, I ran 2 marathons and I dropped a shitload of weight and I was trim and I was feeling really good. And then as happens when you go from running 15 miles every weekend to not doing that, you start to go back up again. So, and then the pandemic hit. So I was not feeling great, and so I was going to the gym, but, and I was asking you, what are some lifts I could do, this and that, but it was similar to you. I had no real focus on what I was doing. So Instagram kept delivering me these ads and I was like, you know what? This shit kind of looks cool. Let me check it out. Showed it to you. We signed up and I was really into it, but I wasn't doing it as hardcore as you. Like I was going here and there, but didn't really make it like a religious event where I had to go every day and I, track this and this. I don't do the recipes like you do. I rarely use the recipes in this thing, which I know I'm only getting half the benefit of the app. I know I need to do this. I absolutely do. But I lost my train of thought. I don't know why.
you're talking about your story.
Yeah,
How far
I
you've
know,
come.
but there was something about what you were just saying. Fuck. I hate it. I've also lost a ton of memory. I've dropped some weights on my head a few times. That's not good. That's not good. Sorry, I got stuck. Anyway, yeah. So it wasn't until just before my birthday I did that. I on the podcast mentioned I want to be in the best shape of my life before before
You
my
die?
40th. Yeah, before I die. And so that was like great. Hashtag fit by 40 became a thing as you pushed me into that. And I've been feeling fucking great ever since. I've dropped. So it's been, I was said I was
Give
going
us the update, baby. Give us the update.
I said I was going to look this up before, so I didn't have to do this on. So I did the 18th of July. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm in my 9th week. I started at 199. Today I was 187. So I'm back down a few, 12. I had to do that math there. Yeah, but I'm feeling good. Again, I don't know where.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. 13 pounds down, doing it the right way, working your balls off, Proud of you.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to start doing now, because I have not yet done the programs that they have in there. I just do, so you can set when you sign up for Center, you can set up, do you want to get fit? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to bulk or something similar to those 3 options? And I want to lose weight. That was my first thing. And then I'm probably going to, once I get down to a weight that I feel is comfortable, I'm going to switch over to toning and putting on some muscle. So they'll deliver you and then you do beginner, advanced, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So I was lose weight and I'm intermediate. And so they'll deliver you kind of a smattering of Mondays is my hit hurt, Tuesdays is boxing, Wednesdays should be plyo, but I don't like plyo. So I switched.
Plyos suck.
Just can't get into it. So I switch it back to hit hurt again. Thursdays is weightlifting. Fridays is Dalrulk functional fitness. And man, Dalrulk's a bitch. I love him.
He'll beat your ass.
He kicks my ass every fucking week. Then Saturday, Sunday, it's kind of dealer's choice. I'll swap out. I'll do MMA. I'll do whatever. But it's kind of a smattering of everything. So I've been thinking about, I need to do, you talk so highly about these programs that they have. So I think I'm going to do the hit hurt program and I'm going to get into that. And I think it's if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a 6-week program and I'm going to start there and we're going to see where that, because I've really taken to hit, like, I know like you love weightlifting and there are some people who love running. I would love to run again, but my knee's kind of messed up when I run now. So hit hurt there's something about it that just, it triggers the right thing in my brain. I don't know why I've connected to it. So, and it's different than CrossFit. I've found out, like CrossFit is
Stupid.
No, not stupid. It's
Not
just,
stupid.
like we're not in it with what I'm doing. We're not throwing tires around a gym. It's a little bit more maintained movements, and it's a little less intense than what CrossFit is.
CrossFit is just the problem. The problem I have with it, I've never done it, but I've seen it enough to be like, if you're not careful and you're not doing the form correctly, you can easily get hurt.
Yes, I've had a lot of friends who've done CrossFit that have had to hang it up because either they did it wrong, overdid it, for whatever reason. But
I've seen some really shitty form from people doing that stuff. I'm like, you're gonna fucking hurt yourself, because that's something else I've come to terms with. Is I'm like, I'm not going to max out my bench press. That's not my goal of this program. Like sometimes when I'm putting weights on, I'm like, oh, wish I could do more. I'm like, but I'm not strength training. I'm building muscle. Like that's my goal, and that involves like higher reps, and lower weight. Like I don't necessarily enjoy doing reps of 12. That's not my ideal spot. I like 8 to 10. I feel like that's a good. You start doing 12, you're like, fucking hell. Like this is like the marathon of weightlifting when you're doing this sort of stuff. But you also realize it is endurance for your muscles, which helps them, get bigger and things like that. So like it really makes sense. But yeah, CrossFit stuff, I'm always been like, y'all be careful out there, okay?
Well, you see people, like you see the Instagram stuff all the time where people they're doing the comparisons in kind of a jokey way, but they're like, they like a regular person doing pull-ups, and they're showing someone just doing pull-ups, and then CrossFitter, and they're like rocking back and forth. And
well, my favorite one of that was like Marjorie Taylor Greene when she made one of those just weird videos, and she was doing CrossFit, and she did this bizarre sort of like pull-up thing while she's talking about insane politics, and people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with?" Some guy made fun of her. He's like, "Yeah," and then he's like, just exaggerating how she was doing her pull-ups. It was insane. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, listen.
You're gonna wrench your back. You're gonna throw your shoulder out. Like that's just not. It's what it is. It's power over form is what I think is what a lot of what they not stress, but they push. And I'm just not in agreement. Personally, not in agreement with that. I think that you really need to slow it down. That's the one thing that I really love about a lot of these trainers in this app. They're like, if you're like. They'll give you, some of them are coached workouts and some are, go at your own pace. If it's a coached workout, they'll say like, as we're doing this, if you can't keep up with my pace, focus on your form and do it half or a quarter of the speed that I'm doing it, as long as your form is there. And then once you get stronger, you can get up, but they've never been like, push it harder. Come on, you fucking idiots. You know?
Well, yeah, because that's also when I was growing up in weight training and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff like people were encouraged to do more weight with poor form. That was more powerful. And for me, I was like, no, you should always focus on your form. Like the amount that you're doing, I think is irrelevant. It can be an indicator. Like if someone is benching 400 pounds in high school, I'm probably gonna be like, that person's gonna get fucking hurt. Because there was a kid I knew, he was a freshman when I was a senior. He was benching over 300 pounds. I'm like, he was a strong guy, but guess what? Guy had to have shoulder surgery because you're benching, putting that much weight on your shoulders when your growth platelets aren't closed, it fucks you up. And he wasn't doing it right. And everyone's like, look at him, freshman doing over 300 pounds. I'm like, yeah. Did he win the state wrestling championship by the time he was done with high school? Yeah. He also had to have shoulder surgery. So, what the fuck?
Right. So what the fuck? Yeah.
And I like some of the things too where they're like, hey, listen, as long as you're moving, just keep moving. Don't stop moving. You are burning calories. You're doing, that's what matters. Just don't stop. Go all the way through. And those are the kinds of encouragement and things that I really like. I trust these programs. And also, you're not going to look like Chris Hemsworth when you're done. No. That's just not how it's going to work. Because Jill asked that the first time. She goes, so when you're done with one of these like programs, are you going to be like an Avenger? I'm like, no, I'm not going to be an Avenger. That's not how this works because I'm not
marketing that suggested, which I don't hold it against them because they're not outright saying you're going to look like this. But of course, when they say like, when they show all the Instagram ads they do have Hemsworth working out.
Yeah.
And he's not really in any of the training sessions. So
Yeah.
it's, it's all his trainers, but he does the ads, but it's suggesting that this is how I did it. Maybe you could too, which again, it's marketing. They have to do that. I don't hold it against them, but I could easily see where someone, be like, so you do this? Are you going to be an Avenger? Are you going to be jacked?
Listen, at the end of the day, like the way that this works is that what Hemsworth does is way more intense because that's his job. He doesn't have a 40-hour-a-week job. His job is to look like Thor. So he is going to work out.
Saying it. Yeah.
He's going to work out twice a day. He's going to have a personal chef give him exactly what he needs every day. And he has the trainers who also work this program for the general masses, but he gets personalized, stuff. And the thing is, like, his stunt man who plays him is also one of the guys that does this stuff too. So, you look at you're like, wow, the trainer that trains him, the guy that does the stunt work, who's his stand-in, and Hemsworth are all part of this program. Yeah. And it's one of the best programs I've ever done weightlifting wise. Like I'm so glad that I have it. It's
fantastic.
It scratches my itch for that. And again, the recipes are phenomenal as far as like getting you good food that will give you the fuel that you need. It's absolutely great. Throughout all of this, Justin, I know you've really hard focused for like 8 or 9 weeks. What would you say is your favorite thing that's changed about you so far?
It's a really good question. My favorite thing that's changed about me.
It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It could be mental. It could be emotional. It could be grammatical.
It could be what?
Grammatical.
I good feel now. Do me?
We've done it. Now we've done it. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen.
Physically, I'm seeing the most definition in my arms, so that like it's nice to see that. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I've got some good stuff coming up there, So physically, it'd probably be that. As far as myself, if I don't go in the morning, I get anxious to go. Like if I miss my morning window and I have to go at lunch, I physically find myself like, I want to get to the gym. I want to get to the gym. And so I like the fact that I have kind of a drive now to get there and to feel good. Cause like, there is kind of an addictive quality, which is also how I know that I have pushed through to the next level. Cause the hardest thing for me is to get started, to make it routine. I'm was notorious for starting and stopping. But now that I've pushed through to a certain point, I can just ethereally feel a shift in like just the way my brain is thinking about it, where it is part of my routine now. And I'm very happy that I've gotten to that point, because that makes it just makes it easier to motivate yourself. When you know that it's not a short-term goal, when you're like, you've committed to it for a long-term, you're like, this is my life now. I do 2 workouts every day. So I usually go for about an hour, because each one is around a half hour. And so I'll go 2. I probably won't do 2 a days forever, but at least to get myself into it now, that's what I need to do. And I'm really, really enjoying that.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
That's so good. I think that's,
what about you?
I'd say my proudest accomplishment is that I'm at, I think 330 days straight of hitting like my movement goal on my watch. My goal is obviously hit 365. So ever since I got my Apple Watch last October and I set my movement goal, I was like, I'm not missing a day. There's been a couple of close calls where I just eked over, but I just absolutely refuse to not hit those goals every day. And I think just like body-wise, I think the thing I'm most surprised about, are my shoulders. I feel like those have been the most, when I think about getting fit, I think about the pecs, the chests, the arms, things like that. But I feel like my traps and my deltoids a little bit, I'm like, okay, all right. And even like, when I do my back workouts, I'm like, I can't see my back, but sometimes when I just stretch, I'm like, it feels kind of muscular back there. Like, it feels pretty good, I'm like, That's okay. And then I think just like self-esteem wise, like I got this shirt over the summer and it fits really nice. I look really good in it. I feel really good in it. I feel confident and I get excited. You know, it's kind of gross, but like I get excited when I'm going to go see someone I haven't seen in a while. I'm like, I'm going to throw on one of these shirts. You know, it's not a muscle shirt, but it also is like, it accentuates how far I've come, you know, like it's, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things that makes me, it makes me feel good about where I am.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like we've,
Sterling Archer, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the woke left propaganda channel, sir.
amazing. Yeah, no, it's the thing is my, 13 pounds down or 12 pounds down it is what it is. And I feel good. It's not super noticeable. I know it because I weigh myself all the time. Your transformation is visually stunning. Like for people who knew you, before and people who see you now, like Beth hadn't seen you until you guys came up and visited us. She hadn't seen you since I think before the pandemic.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And so when she saw you, she was just like, where did half of you go? Like it's just totally different. It is shocking to see. I mean, we threw up a couple months ago. We threw up that picture of when we were doing improv, and I think you were that might have been peak weight for you.
Yeah, and, I mean, it definitely. I mean, I wasn't doing anything to combat it. That's for sure.
If you were, that was mid quad burger realm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What's crazy is my mom sent over a photo of one of the first times Jill went to Disney World with us, and I was like, in college. And I looked at the photo, and I was pretty heavy in that photo. I was like, I didn't think I was that heavy back then.
Yeah.
But Jill's like, I didn't think you were either. I'm like, obviously I was. Like, just like the belly. I was in a swimsuit, just like. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, if I think about it, I hadn't done anything. Like I threw shot put in college, but I didn't have a dedicated weight program. Like it was pretty loosey goosey in Division III. No one was really checking with the weight program, and I sure as shit wasn't doing cardio. So, I was kind of just like winging it. The last time I did anything serious was right before I went to college, probably when, did you ever hear the phrase filling out? Like, have you filled out yet? Like, is that guy filled out yet? Like, meaning like have they kind of like come into their, it's where you put on weight, I think kind of naturally.
Adult body.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. That was always the thing is like, oh, well, don't worry, he hasn't filled out yet. So when he's filling out, like you'll see like a change and that sort of stuff. I kind of hit the filling out stage while I was also doing German volume training with my dad. Okay. So that was in my mind like my peak moment where I actually think I put on like 10, 15 pounds of muscle right before I went to college. I was doing this very intense program, which when I look back on it, I mean, it's probably comparable to what I'm doing now. It was just a lot of 10 sets of 10 for stuff like and you did this for 3 phases, but these were like 10-week phases and stuff like that. Is German volume training some kind of porn thing? Kinda.
Absolutely. The answer is yes.
10 sets of 10, with each dude,
No, 9 sets of 9.
9 sets of 9. But yeah, it's designed to be like endurance. Yeah. It's like sort of like kind of keeping that going, and then the final phase was the boss phase. No, it's like really focused on strength.
You have to fight your dad.
You turn now fight me for control of the family. And I didn't get all the way through it, but I spent the whole summer with my dad just like doing this, and it was 2 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. So you're like lifting just consistently all the time. And I remember one of my grossest moments was kind of when I was at the tail end of that. I went to a party with a sleeveless shirt because I felt really good about me. And I was like, what's up? Hat backwards. I was like, what's up?
Oh, no.
I've been working
out. Did you
have
a puka shell necklace?
I may as well have.
Oh, buddy.
But it was really bad. I was just like, and then it all went away because that's the thing, kind of like what you mentioned about running. If you don't keep that up, if you don't maintain that, it all just goes, which is also one of the things that motivates me is I'm terrified that I'm going to lose what I've gained. Yeah. Which is why I've had very rare amount of days where I've woken up and felt like, I don't want to do this today. It doesn't happen that much because I'm like, I refuse to lose any ground because I know myself. If I lose any ground, it's not a slide, it's a fucking cliff is what it's going to be. I'm going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I could probably take a day off and would be fine.
Yeah.
You're
at a point now where you could. I understand the mental hurdle that is. I fully understand that because there has been 2 days where I haven't met my move goal. One of them, we went back to Chicago for a Tuesday night concert.
Yeah.
Of all fucking nights. And so, we were staying at my sister-in-law's, and it was just logistically between working remotely that day and then the concert the night before, we didn't get back until like 1 a.m. It was a whole thing. And then we had to drive back Tuesday after work. So I didn't get to exercise. And we came back and it was like 9:30. And I was exhausted because it was a 3.5 hour drive, probably 4 with traffic out of Chicago. Again, didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. Had a great night, but got back and I was like, I could go work out right now. I could sneak one in. I could hit this. And I hemmed and hawed for probably 45 minutes. And finally I went, okay, it's not healthy to be this obsessed about it. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. You're going to miss a day. It's fine. And to this day, hey, Loki. And to this day, it still haunts me. It hasn't been that long, but I will look back at all my move goals, like the calendar where you can see all your rings, and I see one day that has barely any color to that. I'm just like, oh god damn it.
That's tough, man. I kind of ran into that last Sunday where I did a walk. Well, it was challenging because it was raining, so I did treadmill, which I hate doing treadmill, but I did treadmill. I did some, and then I was like, moving around, but then it got to be after dinner. I'm like, I've got to go on another walk after dinner. Like I have to because there's no way else I'm going to get this done. And I forced myself to go on a 45-minute walk. I logged it in and I was like, good job. But that's the thing is like, I have to get up and get it done or at least make a huge dent in it because as the day goes on, you're less and less inclined to do it. And that's just particularly for me. I'm really bad.
There have been days where I've been 100 points off and I'll just be Beth is like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I got to close my rings.
Yeah.
And so I'll stay in the living room and I'll just sit there and do boxing reps to get the heart rate up until I hit it. And I'm like, okay, now that I'm sweaty, I can go to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're that close, you're like, it's 100,
I can get 100. It's not a fucking problem. But I get the mental anguish of you are at the point where you've proven to yourself, this is a lifestyle. It's not a fad. You can take a day and you'll be fine. But there is a mental hurdle that you have to get over where you're just like, I failed for the day and I don't want to fail.
Well, what I've also found is that I can still get this stuff in even when I travel, even when I fly. I find ways. Like when we went down to Disney World, I still got up really early and did a walk before we left. I mean, most days now I get up at 4:30. So I'm up real early. My routine is this, if you're curious. I get up at 4:30. I have my pre-made breakfast, which currently right now is overnight oats with some raspberries. I eat that. I stretch for about 25 to 30 minutes because I have to. Otherwise, my body's like, I hate you. So, which is good. That actually, I stretch pretty hard, so I get some calories burned on that. Yeah. And then I take
every time I see, because Doug and I have notifications to each other, every time I see you finish stretching, I'm like, you got like 125 calories for this? Fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Someone always told me it's like stretching's not supposed to feel good, right? It's supposed to hurt a little bit. So get into it. Yeah. So then I go on about an hour-long walk with my dog. And then from there, I go to the gym and I lift. Unless it's a day where I don't go to the gym and then I just go on like an extra long walk with my dog and really wear her ass out and wear myself out. And then come home, I have my post-workout shake, shower, I do work. I might have a snack in the morning and then I have lunch. And then usually I go on my walks are usually about a little over 3 miles. Yeah. So then over lunch, I'll go on another 3 mile walk. And that usually closes all my rings, all my stuff for the day. Yeah. So I'm on average, I'm walking, legit like tracking walking about 6+ miles a day. And then, easily hitting those 10,000 steps. I think I'm averaging like 14, 15,000 steps a day. So,
I tried going on a walk with my dog. You know my dog. She'll play fetch until the fucking cows come home.
Yeah.
Try to take her for a walk. You're dragging 45 to 50, depending on what week it is.
Sounds like a workout.
50 pounds just behind you on a leash, and you're like, come on. So it takes. In the morning, we'll go on a walk. You've probably seen it pop up. And I'm sure you've looked at it and gone, he walked 0.5 miles in 27 minutes.
Yeah.
How? How does
the dog.
Because my dog won't fucking move her ass on a walk.
My dog is also challenging because she wants to murder every single squirrel, every single rabbit, everything. She's all over the place. And similarly, sometimes I have to be like, enough, because the problem with her is she just eats everything she finds. Yeah. Because people are like, oh, you got to let him sniff. I'm like, yeah, the second I let her sniff something, she's eating something. And I'm like, what the fuck are you eating? And she's like, I try to get it out. And she's like, no, I found it. It's mine. And it's just annoying as hell. So I'm usually like, no. And I'm just pulling her. And, she's actually a good dog to run with because she'll keep up with you until she sees a rabbit. And then you better hope to God that you have you see it first so you can prep for it, and B, you have the balance to pull her where you need to go because you're like, no! If you don't see it, you're like, Jesus.
Coming out of your socket.
Yeah. Like, there it goes. Yeah, it's bad.
I like to do, I like to take the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes and set it up to where she, I don't pull her away. I let her sniff because I know that's super important to dogs. For their just their mental facilities, like to let them sniff, like it helps stimulate, it helps them map things and learn and yada yada. But then after a certain amount of time, I'm like, we need to get a walk in, because the thing is, she's about 5 to 10 pounds overweight. The vet really wants us to get her weight down about 5-10 pounds, and I'm like, the only way this is going to happen is if you agree to this. So let's go, and it's just like pulling teeth. So I've wanted to get my walks in the same way that you do, but I'm going to have to figure something else out.
I'll be honest with you. I prefer to walk without her. I go faster.
Same.
Practical Doug is like, we're going quicker, and that's a good thing,
For a little while, I was doing that. Like I was walking her in the morning, and then I would go work out. I would do 1, and then I would go for like a 3-mile walk by myself. There's like a forest trail by me, and it was wonderful. But then, life happens, schedules change. And I'm like, fuck it. I just need to do 2 workouts and get this over with.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. When I think about how much I'm working out, I mean, I'm up at 4:30. I start work around 8:30. So I'm up for 4 hours before I sit down to do work for the day.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like, that's part of my routine, and I really enjoy it because when I'm ready to sit down to do work, I'm like, I feel good. I've gotten this stuff in. And then I give my body a chance to rest. I do work. And it's just, I don't know. It's great. It's really, really nice.
There's nothing better than getting the workout in the morning. And I know some people are like, well, I'm not a morning person. Let me tell you, if you get up and you work out, you will, I've had people say to me, Dad, I'm just not built that way. I wasn't either. I traditionally didn't like mornings. You start working out and it's a whole different ball game because you get back, you shower, and you're like, I'm done. I did it. And you look at your watch and you're like, fuck, I just burned like 800 calories. It's not even 9 o'clock.
Yeah. That's the best part.
And then you've got that afterburn going, and you're just going to keep your metabolisms up. And man, it's a great feel. You feel accomplished and a little bit more bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. You can do some things. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I think about, again, is my weight exactly where I want it to be? No. But I feel good. And I can make some better eating choices. I think for the most part, like I kill it in breakfast. I kill lunch.
Yeah.
Dinner's usually where I'm like, I usually have my normal meal plus But here's the thing too, is like I make sure I snack on fruit, but especially on the weekends, I'm like, we'll have some popcorn. We'll have some M&Ms in those popcorn, and I'll have a couple treats here. But again, I think the things I'm most satisfied with is I rein it in.
Yeah.
Like some days the 22-year-old Doug will come busting out, and I have to try and fight him and at least hold him back from where he really wants to go. But I'm nowhere near what I used to be.
Right. You got to fight 22-year-old Doug and bring him up to 32-year-old Doug. Mm-hmm. Right. Slightly.
Probably even 32-year-old Doug wasn't that great. 32-year-old Doug was still having quad burgers. So,
That is True, and a very fair point. I will say that this is where you and I might differ slightly in our philosophies on this. I fully embrace the concept of having it, like if you're gonna cheat, like a cheat day, having that, treating yourself, knowing that you're like, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna beat myself up because this is what I've set aside, again, and knowing that you're at a point now where it's not gonna derail you. You're not gonna disappear for 2 weeks and come back just covered in chocolate. You're like, I blacked out. I don't know what happened. You're not going to go in a bender. So I think it's, for me at least, I think it's okay to give into that as long as it's part of your schedule. As long as you have, it's not just today I'm eating a bag of M&M. Like you're like, no, on Sunday is we're going to have pizza on Sunday. And, I may have one slice too many. And that's okay, because tomorrow I'm going to get back to it,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. My problem is I have a weird relationship with food because I don't eat enough. So like I think that's actually a hindrance in me losing weight, is I think my body is like, hey man, we're low on energy right now. And we're not going to burn anything because we can't spare it. Beth gets on me all the time about this. Like I'm on board with doing a cheat day when it comes up, but like during the week, I'm like, I must conserve. I must not eat. I'll do a protein shake in the morning and maybe an apple at lunch and then dinner. And like I eat nothing all day. And she's like, did you eat today? And I
Justin,
go,
no.
I did. I had something.
No, buddy, no. Like that. It's funny because it seems counterintuitive, right? Like I'm trying to lose weight, so I shouldn't consume. Exactly.
But I know my body's like, I need protein, I need fiber, I need these things to do the thing you want me to do. So I know it. I just have you have an unhealthy relationship with food in the counter way, the opposite way to how I have an unhealthy relationship with food. Yeah. Two sides of the same coin.
Because that's what I was doing in the beginning before I started doing the center recipes and stuff like that, is I was really... I wouldn't say I was calorie counting, but I was I wasn't eating the right stuff to be working out. Right. When I was just walking every day and doing some light weights and stuff like that, it was totally fine. But to actually, build muscle and things like that, I was learning like, I'm drastically missing out on protein and just... I've also, something I got to give center credit for is like I've been trying a lot more vegetables and things like that I normally wouldn't with these recipes, which has been great. I've found a lot of great recipes where I'm like, I found, it's like, for example, spinach. Don't really like it, the big leafy thing. Just chop that shit up into smaller pieces and sprinkle it in there. You're still getting it. Just for me, it's the texture. I've started to include red peppers in a couple of recipes, which has been...
Bell peppers are... everything to me. Probably my favorite vegetable. I love bell peppers.
There's this chipotle cheese fries that I make as a meal that has potatoes, spinach, chicken, red bell peppers. Fuck onions. I'll never put onions in anything. And it's got some. It's like a wonderful sort of just like Mexican flavored dish with cumin, paprika, all that good stuff, chili. It's so good. It's one of Natalie loves it, which is also like Natalie's been enjoying a lot of these recipes as well. There's a chicken noodle soup recipe on there that is just so good. There's a stew recipe. There's a smoky chicken pasta. Like there's so many things that I eat. And I'm like, I avoided this before. Things like pasta. Yeah. Because I'm like, you can't have that. And it's like, no, you can.
Yeah.
If you do it in moderation and you do it with these other things, it's not just noodles, sauce, and cheese, there's...
The thing that I'm starting to... So now as I'm addressing my weird relationship with food and calories and everything, and I'm looking at macros a little bit more, I'm starting to realize, I'm like, okay, so I can get like a lentil-based pasta or a legume-based pasta, and there's a fuck ton of protein in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can have, it's got the texture of pasta, and you put, the right kind of whatever on it, or put some chicken with it. Now you're doubling up on that protein, put some spinach in there. You got your fiber and vitamin C. Like I'm starting to understand that there are different ways I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize that there was a bean-based pasta.
I didn't either until I started doing this stuff.
You know what I mean? Like,
no idea.
Like, that's the kind of shit where I'm getting excited about because I'm like, okay, I might be able to course correct this odd relationship I have with food and eating, and actually, so I'm curious to see how the next few months go with trying some different things.
The challenge on my end too is that I also am cooking for 2 other people, and we all don't have the same likes. And there's times I have to make sacrifices with the recipe. Like for example, Natalie hates the plant-based noodles. Can't stand them.
Really?
Doesn't like them at all. So I'm like, well, that's out. Jill hates sweet potatoes, which is in a lot of these. So I have to just substitute that with just like Yukon Golds, which I'm like, probably not exactly the same nutrient content, but I'm like close enough, I suppose. It's better than eating a wheel of cheese, I suppose. Like that's what I tell myself. So, I do have to make
probably
those.
more protein in cheese.
Yeah, right. And like for example, the chicken noodle soup, I don't like celery, but I definitely don't mind it in a soup because it gets nice and soft. Yeah. And Natalie and Jill don't like celery at all, not even in the soup. So I'm like, well, I guess I can't have celery in this goddamn soup. So there's things where I'm like, I have to make. Is honestly, I would go very, very simple with this. I would have like a very rigid, regular schedule where it'd be healthy, but
Beth made it. She's got a recipe for chili that I wish she'd made.
It'll blow your ass out.
It will blow your ass out.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
It was, I know it's so good. But it is, it's like 3 different kinds of beans. It's celery, carrots, ground beef, something. You put a little dark chocolate in
What was in that something, Justin?
I had tomatoes. I honestly don't know the recipe.
What else? Is there onions in there, Justin?
I don't.
There's onions in there. I know there is. Don't lie to me.
Parsnip today. Never had parsnip before.
Okay.
That was tasty. Little dark chocolate and a little bit of balsamic too.
I love balsamic.
Really interesting, weird. It is probably some of the best chili I've ever had. And when you look at the ingredient list, you're just like extraordinarily healthy. And so I feel like this. It has celery, so your girls wouldn't like it. But I'm dying to have you try this thing because I think this would be a game changer for you. This is our winter go-to meal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Slotty asked, is guacamole and chips a suitable dinner? No.
Yes.
Sorry. What? Bell peppers are A tier. I'm starting to agree with you. For me, with that too, is I have to cut them up really small. I chop them up really small. I get the flavor of it, which I really enjoy, and I also cook them down so that
snap the little crisp to them.
I don't, for whatever reason. I hate myself for a lot of that stuff because I know it seems silly, but it's that texture. For whatever reason, when I'm biting into that stuff, I don't know. I don't want that to be the star of the show for whatever reason. It's the same thing with onions, really. I don't mind onion flavor. Like, I'll put onion powder and stuff, but I do not like... Definitely a raw onion can fuck off, but even like a cooked through onion, I don't know, man. There's something about it that just like...
The thing is, the onions in this are so... because
I would trust it. I would trust it. I would try it.
Yeah.
I would.
You get the flavor. Well, it's so covered with everything else, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I've gotten to the point now where I would totally do that. If I was a child or like 32, I would be like, gross.
Yeah.
Gross. There's onions in here, and I would probably still kind of have that reaction a little bit where I'm like, but I would get over it now. I think I would. I wouldn't say I would suffer through it. I would, I would be like, this is going to be fine. You're not going to taste it. Because I heard that line so much growing up, like, you can't even taste it. I'm like, fuck you. I can taste it.
Yeah.
So I began not to trust my parents. I was like, because I kind of like have taken that a little bit with Natalie when she's like, meh. I'm like, you can't taste it. I'm like, the roles have reversed.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I get it. But I'm also like, seriously, you can't taste it. Trust me.
Seriously. Yeah. But that's the thing. I think you got to the point where you could, because there used to be that hard wall that you'd put up. And you'd be like, no, I know what's in there. Fuck you. Now you don't like that it's in there, but you'll try it. And 9 times out of 10, after you try it, you're like, cool, this is good. Like, I'm sure that's, So I think the big hurdle for you is probably just getting past the mental, just being kind of, that child, energy there. Yeah,
for sure. I've had those moments where I've been very pleased with, including spinach into my diet in general. Like that's definitely not something I would normally do. And I've come across just some phenomenal recipes that I've challenged myself. I'm like, give this a try. It looks good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
It is good. Just, eat it, enjoy it, know that it's better, and also just trying to set a good example for Natalie as well.
That's
just,
a big thing for you. Yeah.
I tell you, there's nothing better than having your kid tell you, they're being hyperbolic, but they don't know any different. It's like, Dad, you're the best cook ever. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely setting you up for probably failure down the road, because I like to think I do a pretty good job cooking, and this is what you're going to expect. And when you go to like college or some shit, you're going to be like, fuck me. Like,
Right.
But hopefully I can teach her enough that she can take that with her.
Right. You're going to, Dad, you're the best chef. Thank you. At least you're fucking bean pasta.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because it's cooked perfectly. You can't even taste it.
She went on a thing now where she doesn't like steak. I'm like, yeah, okay. We'll see how long that lasts. You dumb.
Man. I'll tell you.
I almost said it, but I was like,
I know. I appreciate the self-censor.
Like, that's my daughter. She'll probably listen to this someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she just turns it off and says, I don't like stuff anymore, I'm like, I will put your head through that fucking wall. Like, Jesus Christ. How do you not like ribeye steak?
I'm going to say this right now. Natalie better get over that if she and I are going to remain friends.
Right.
Okay.
Same thing. Loved pesto pasta. Loved it. And all of a sudden she's like, I don't like pesto. I'm like, fine. Here's plain spaghetti.
Right.
Enjoy. And she just gobbles it up. I'm like, whatever, you animal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's the thing as a parent too. You got to be like, this is either a test or a phase, and I'm not going to show my cards.
And I also think, like, I give her some outs a lot of ways. I'm like, fine, I've got some macaroni and cheese over here or whatever. When we go to places, it's like, oh yeah, she wants chicken fingers and whatever. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. But I make sure she has veggies. She has, like, when she comes home from school, she usually wants a snack, and it's some bullshit snack like, I want Cheerios. I'm like, that's not going to fucking fill you up. That's garbage food. Yeah. I was like, here, have a banana with it. She's like, okay, so she'll have her banana, which is very filling and very good for you, and this. So we've gotten this combo now. In the mornings, I make her an egg every morning with a banana. Like, there you go. There's your breakfast. Her lunch is 2 carrots, 6 grapes, cheese stick, slice of prosciutto, and a slice of turkey breast. And her snack at school is strawberries and grapes. So I'm like, I'm feeling good, right?
Yeah.
Feeling good with that.
It's a nice rounded meal, yeah.
All right, Sly's like, oh, whoa, don't slander Cheerios. Hey, listen, Cheerios is fine. It's just not good. They want you to believe that Cheerios is like a delicious, good for you food. It's not. Most cereal is dog shit, okay? And it's not going to fill you up.
Cheerios will save your heart, Doug.
No, it won't.
And it
won't save your blood sugar.
Science.
It won't give you diabetes.
We're talking about Honey Nut Cheerios. We're talking about Cheerios.
Diabetes.
There's sugar in those.
Dude, there's so much sugar in all cereals.
Sugar.
Oh my God, dude.
In regular Cheerios?
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Right now.
Well, here's the thing.
Drive to the store.
Well, here's the thing, too. You won't get filled up on Cheerios. It's not filling. You just eat it. It's not as bad as chips, but it's pretty goddamn close.
Whoa, you're saying Cheerios is equal to chips as far as nutritional value?
As far as like not getting filled up? Do you want to be full or not, Justin?
Well, obviously not. I have a weird relationship with food. We talked about this.
Yeah, if you want to be full, eat something better. Eat something with protein that will actually fill up your body. Your body will be like, all right, this is good. I'm full. Versus like Cheerios.
Ham? Will that be protein?
What's that?
Cheerios and bits of ham?
There you go.
Okay.
Cheerios and banana. There you go. That'll get you something. Cheerios and an egg.
Ham.
There you go.
Ham.
This is a false dichotomy, Doug. No, Slotty.
What?
It's not.
False dichotomy? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Between chips and Cheerios? Or what?
Listen, that's probably a gross exaggeration, all right? But what I'm saying is the thing that's between the two of them is that you just continue to eat them. I'm not talking eating Cheerios with milk, because milk is a liquid that will help fill you up. If you're just straight eating them dry, which is how Natalie eats her things like that, you can't compare Cheerios to chips and put them on equal footing for healthfulness. What I'm saying, let me be more specific, is they won't fill you up.
Get torn up on YouTube for this.
Nah, nobody's going to give a shit about that. Butthurt boys don't care about health. Look at them. Look at how they spend their energy. They don't get up and move around for 10 hours a day. They don't care. I'm saying Cheerios in a bowl, chips in a bowl. You are just dry. You're just going to eat them and you are not going to feel full. I would argue that the fat and the salt content in the chips is worse by a long shot, because that almost compels you to eat more. But you still will be consuming, it's high calorie density. you're eating a lot and getting high calories for the density of food. It's not going to fill you up. Choose a better option, sir.
Slotty's killing me right now. He is absolutely killing me.
What if you eat chips and Cheerios dry and drink a cup of milk? Better. What if you eat chips and drink milk? Gross. What if we're always drinking milk? This episode brought to you by Milk. Support your local dairy industry. Justin, what kind of milk do you drink?
I switched to oat milk, actually.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you do skim? Do you do 1%, 2%, or do you do whole?
Traditionally, I used to do skim or one.
Skim, man. I grew up on that, and I hated milk. And I never knew why until I got to have whole milk. And I'm like, wait, what?
Wait,
This milk's out here, too? What the fuck?
This milk is out here too. Yeah,
I was like
milk flavored water. Yeah,
it was the nastiest milk ever, and that's what we always had. And I was always like, I don't like milk. And then I think I went to camp. I'm like, man, this milk is so good. I mean, look how white it is. Like this thing is just like so thick and delicious. I'm like, oh man, I could do this all the time. And then we went home, and I remember just going to the grocery store one day and being like, what's that? It's like, oh, that's whole milk. I'm like, what? Why can't we have that? And then for a while, my mom let us get it. I'm like, I love milk. Yeah. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah. I think it is funny how, because I grew up on the same. Like I grew up on, and I know my mom didn't grow up on skim milk because I don't think skim milk was really a thing until more like, I feel like when back in the day, 60s and stuff, like you were getting, it was just milk.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had all the varietals, all the different. I don't know. I could be talking about it out of my ass here, but I feel like our parents probably didn't grow up with the option to have skim milk.
No, I don't think so.
But we all our generation, I feel like almost all exclusively grew up on skim milk. It's like, why?
Because everyone's like, well, whole milk's bad for you.
Yeah.
Which it does have a lot of caloric intake, and stuff like that. I mean, it is definitely whenever I make stuff, it's like, hey, make sure you're using low fat milk, Right. But seriously, whole milk is the goddamn best. Like, it is so good. I just. So anyway, sorry to go on that milk tangent, but anyway. I needed to know. I'm glad we're on the same page that skim milk is garbage, or as Slotty said, is skim milk is just water lying about being milk. So true.
Yeah. So we're getting healthy. That's what it is.
We're getting healthy, and
end of the day.
Honestly, shout out to anyone else who is going on a journey with this sort of stuff. And if you want to share your story with us, we'd love to hear it.
We should make a fitness channel in Discord.
We do have one. It's not used hardly at all.
This is how often I log in.
Yeah, we do have a fitness channel in our Discord. I'd love to chat more with people if they've got workouts or if they want ideas on workouts. Not that I'm a fitness expert, but I shared some of my early workouts and they're with what I was doing. I would love to chat more about this, or if anyone just needs encouragement or whatever. I don't know. So that's the kind of stuff that inspired me to get going. It took a while, but I'd listen to comedians or whoever. It's like, man, I'm going to make a change. I'm like, well, fuck, if they can do it,
yeah,
why can't I? All it takes is just, starting by walking every day and stuff like that. So, yeah. So that's if you're, hope you're thinking about being healthy. If you are being healthy, good for you. Share your story with us. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely.
Tell us your favorite workout in the comments down below. Do that.
There's a good one. I like that.
What's your favorite? Do you like running? Do you like lifting? What is it? Do you like swimming? What's your jam? Tell us in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'd love to hear about it.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
All right. So, if you've never been here before for Practical Doug is a tiny Doug that lives inside of Large Doug. Practical Doug guides Large Doug on most of life's journeys, offering practical sage advice. What's going on? Hold on. Let me let my dog out. She's whining. All right.
The poop is coming.
The poop is coming. Yes, so our wonderful fans like to ask Practical Doug questions. If you would like to ask Practical Doug a question, you can either join us live Tuesdays at 7 Central. You can join our Discord, and there's a channel dedicated to Ask Practical Doug, or on any social medias, you can hashtag Ask Practical Doug, also tagging MindGap, please, and thank you. Today's practical question comes from Mr. Noah Reno. Noah asked, hey, Practical Doug, why are roundabouts so good and efficient, but people are so bad at them?
I think Noah was specifically talking about, because he also linked a video to this, and it was like a small town in the USA,
right,
of why people are so bad at roundabouts. Because when I was growing up, my idea of roundabouts was obviously in Paris, you know, at the Champs-Élysées or whatever, like that massive roundabout. I saw it from like European Vacation and things like that. I'm like, that looks like pure fucking insanity. Like, that is absurd. It's crazy. Why would anyone ever want to have that?
Yeah.
And then it's moved at a glacial pace in the U.S. where I've started seeing them pop up in places.
There's a lot of them up here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I saw like in Missouri. I've seen them over in Bettendorf, Iowa. I've seen them, and they're supposedly efficient, very efficient. And they, according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the IIHS,
Did his research.
roundabouts are a safer alternative to traffic signals and stop signs because the tight circle of a roundabout.
Wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, here we go. Get ready for it.
The tight circle of a roundabout forces drivers to slow down. And the most severe types of intersection crashes, right angle left turn and head-on collisions, are unlikely.
Yeah, that sounds good. Also, roundabouts improve traffic flow and are better for the environment because research shows that traffic flow improves after traditional intersections are converted to roundabouts. Less idling reduces vehicle transmissions and fuel consumption because you just go.
Interesting.
And then roundabouts are generally safer for pedestrians, which I thought was interesting because pedestrians walk on sidewalks around the perimeter and cross only one direction of traffic at a time. So they don't have to necessarily look both ways because the direction of traffic is going only one way. Crossing.
I don't know about that. I mean, if you're on a one-way street that has a roundabout, but we've got two-way street roundabouts up here.
I mean, but if you're crossing over the roundabouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So if you cross over a street, there's cars coming both directions.
They shouldn't be necessarily. Because
if you have a two-way street that intersects at a roundabout.
Get out the whiteboard, Justin. Get out the whiteboard. Draw it for me. No, because if you have a roundabout, the idea is that you're getting on and following one particular direction, right? Because cars should not be intersecting or forcing each other to go idle at any point in time.
No, but if I'm crossing the street, right, on a roundabout, like I'm crossing across a street, it is a two-way street. Doesn't matter if there's a roundabout. Cars are going east and west on this street.
No, this is bad. This is bad because I'm like, I don't think so. I don't recall this, Justin.
Hey, all right, let me do this. And look, this is going to be wonderful for the podcast. Google, I'm going to give you an address in Grand Rapids, okay?
Okay. Let's do this.
And just in Google this, you can put it up on the big board.
All right, give me a second here. I got to set up the big board here. Give me 1 sec.
I need to find an address.
We're going to do this, all right? Because we this is the commitment we're making.
Yeah.
Cuz I want to understand. I really do.
For sure.
And this matters, okay?
Okay. So I am going to you know what? Let me do this. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let me do this. Okay. Here's what I'll do.
We got
if
this
I
going.
send you, where do I send this to you? Am I going to send it in GChat here? Okay. I'm going to send you coordinates. If you plug those into Google, does that bring you here?
Coordinates? You're sending me coordinates. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, let's put these in. All right. Let's put it into Google. What do we see? Oh my God, it kind of worked.
Hey,
I think.
Is it the intersection of like Wealthy and
Yes.
Jefferson? Okay.
Yes.
So zoom in.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me transition over
All
here.
right.
Okay, great. There we go. All right, here we are. All right. Okay, I'm zoomed in. I see it.
So if you're going, do you see how on Wealthy and Jefferson are both two-way streets?
Yes.
So if you're crossing across, what do you have? Do you have the satellite or the layers, the map?
I just have the map right now.
Okay, cool. So if you're crossing from that pink area
Mm-hmm.
Across to either way, left or down, right? You're crossing two different lanes of traffic.
But
right?
No.
If you're going from the pink area down, you're crossing over Wealthy and you're crossing two different lanes of traffic.
No, because the first one, the lane of traffic is going to the west.
Uh-huh.
So that's only one direction you have to worry about is traffic coming from the east.
If you're going
and then if you cross the southern Wealthy Street, then traffic is heading to the east coming from the west. So you only
So are you saying you can stand on that island? That little pin, what is that? No.
I'm assuming you can, right? Is that how that works?
Sure, but I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Like you can stop that. Okay.
You cross that one.
You're crossing one. Okay. All right. I see. I feel like we're both saying the same thing, but semantics. I understand what you're saying now.
Okay.
You're saying you're crossing one lane.
Yes.
You're hitting an oasis, and then you're crossing another lane. I'm saying if you're crossing Wealthy, you're crossing two lanes of traffic.
But not at the same time.
Well, you're never crossing at the same time. You're only ever going to exist in one lane of traffic.
Is this like time travel and multidimensional? Is this a multiverse? Are we in the multiverse? If I'm in the third dimension, I can't be in the fourth dimension at the same time. No, what I'm saying, I think what this is arguing that when you're crossing, the way I think most of these are set up, and correct me if I'm wrong, hey, if you're a roundabout expert, please fill us in. The idea is that if we are, let's say we're this, I know, Justin, you can't see this, but if you're where this red dot is, audience, and if you're listening, check us out on youtube.com/mindgappodcast. If you're crossing north over Wealthy Street, southeast, right? The only thing you have to worry about is what's coming from your left. You don't have to worry about any traffic coming from your right because you're crossing over that, and that's technically a one-way that you're crossing over. And then you get over to the little median there, right?
Your oasis, yeah.
Your oasis. And then you're going to cross over again. You only have to worry about traffic coming from the right.
Okay.
So that makes it safer versus a standard intersection where you're like, we got cars coming from both left and right at the same time. It's safer to be like, all I need to do is focus on what's coming from this direction because that's the road that's where they're coming from. So I guess you could argue statistically it's safer, because your focus can just be now.
Let me throw this out there too, though. If on a standard intersection you're crossing on when you have the green, so really you're crossing with traffic, you shouldn't have to worry about traffic.
Except if people are turning right, people are turning left, right? That increases the potential danger.
Yeah, but if they're turning right or left, you're really only dealing with one direction at a time. You can, if you're crossing with green, if people are turning right, you can make sure no one's coming at you to turn right, and then once you hit the left turn lane, you can look and make sure no one's coming around, right?
True, but you also have to deal with the fact that direction of traffic, people can come from both directions. So mathematically speaking, you're increasing your odds of danger because if someone's an idiot and runs the light or whatever, you can argue the same thing in the roundabout because that's the next point is that people in America don't know how to drive on roundabouts.
That's true. They're going to come.
They're terrifying. People don't know what the fuck to do in them. I'm just as guilty. I'm like, oh God, we're at a roundabout. It could be the quietest roundabout where there's nobody there. And I'm like, oh God, where do I go? What do I do? It's like the 5-way streets in Chicago. Where it's like, which one is Belmont? I can't tell. Is it really that one that's running diagonal, or is it that? I don't know. What street am I on? It's confusing as hell. So I think people panic, and then before you know it, someone's going the wrong way, and it's super dangerous. So
we have reached. I believe we have reached an accord. We have reached an agreement, an understanding. There is one other intersection I'm looking for because I think it will prove my point, but I can't find it now, so forget it.
Well, the question being is if they're efficient. But this was important to this. This is important. We had to get to the bottom of this. All right, this is really important to us.
This debate is actually aiding in
yes.
because we can't even fucking argue this correctly.
Why are we so bad about it? Well, because the thing is, this is a new thing to Americans. It's a very new thing. We are so used to the typical intersection, that this, when you see it, it's like, this seems crazy, but it actually makes sense because the way that you travel and the way that it's honestly, I love it because of the sense of like just natural motion, right? You hop in, you go, you get off where you need to go, and there is no stopping, which is kind of nice. There's no idling. It does seem better as long as everyone knows what the fuck they're doing. And so why are people so bad at it, Noah? To answer your question, we don't have any practice. How often do you see a roundabout? If you're not in your hometown or anything, or not a town that you live, like Justin, you see them a lot. So no big deal. I don't see them. I see them when we go visit Jill's sister who lives in Bettendorf because that's on the way there. That's the only time I see a roundabout. When I went to go visit my brother in Missouri 3 years ago, there was a roundabout there. And I'm like, okay, I don't get much practice in it. So it's confusing. It adds extra confusion, especially if you don't know the area anyway. And you're like, great, now I'm in this circle. And I don't know which street I'm supposed to take next. And where? And the video that Noah showed these cars that were just so confused. They were going the wrong way. They were going in the wrong lanes. Completely screwed everything up because they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, because most of them have the two lanes going the same direction where like one is for the intent to turn right and one is for the intent to follow the circle around. And
so someone's going down the wrong way and you're like, oh God.
The whole fucking thing. Yeah. So I sent you one more.
Okay.
A bit of coordinates and we can we'll wrap it up here. This is an exception to the rule. This is an ill conceived roundabout. I will say that.
Okay. Let's take a look at this one.
I don't know if you can see it in the map. No. Yeah. You got to go to the satellite view and zoom as far in as you can.
Okay. I was like, because right now it just looks like okay. All right. Here we go. Let's take a look at this, gang.
So this is a 5-way intersection with a roundabout with no oases. No oasi.
Okay. So these are all 2 ways then.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not safe for anybody. I mean, they have crosswalks, but that does not fit the definition of,
right.
That's just a regular crosswalk where people don't actually have to stop. Because obviously, honestly, I think it would be dangerous for a car to stop there. So the pedestrian should never walk unless they absolutely can get across. Because this circle is just a constant flow of motion. So
now we drove by this one time and
how many dead bodies were there?
7.
Nice.
On the southwest corner, on the southwest section of the roundabout in the center, 2 kids had a lemonade stand set up.
Oh my God. Terrible.
And I sat there and I went, if you had tried, you could not have picked a worse spot to set this up. And there were people stopping and buying lemonade. I'm just like, this is no bueno.
No, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Super duper dangerous.
All right. So Practical Doug has ruled. Because
we need more practice.
We need more practice.
It is decided. There you go.
Ta-da.
Ba-bow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been fun. But before we go, let's talk about recommendations. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
All right. So the audience that our last week's episode seemingly was delivered to is going to hate this recommendation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to recommend A League of Their Own. The new series, not the movie, the series. Movie's great, but the series on Amazon Prime. It starts Abby Jacobson and a slew of other wonderful people. It is. I found it to be quite an enjoyable watch. I think it took what the original movie did and also probably wanted to do but couldn't do at the time, and really cracked the story open and told a different but equally as interesting story. Again, probably addressing things that they wanted to address at the time. So I would say It's not going to be for everyone. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll put that as the caveat.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dougie, what do you got?
I'm actually going to recommend Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, which is interesting. A lot of people were like, when I've said this to, they're like, I didn't take you for an Elvis guy. I'm not an Elvis guy. I know a little bit about him, but I kind of nothing his music. I respect his music, I guess, to a certain degree. And we'll talk about that in just a second as to why. But it's if you've never watched a Baz Luhrmann film, it's very visually stimulating, sometimes overwhelming.
Baz Luhrmann could be considered an auteur. Like, he does his movies the way he does his movies.
Yeah, and it was when I first started watching it, I was like, oh God. I was like overwhelmed by the visuals. I'm like, okay, you can do this. You can get through this. It was a lot. There's a lot of motion. There's a lot of things. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But I thought the acting was spectacular. The actor, I feel bad, I don't know his name, who played Elvis, was phenomenal.
Oh my God. I've watched so many interviews with him. Oh my God. Austin something.
Reno.
I'm assuming you're looking it up.
Oh no. He's great. He's totally great.
There's me just sipping on water like Doug's got this.
I'm working on it now. Yeah,
James Austin?
Who are you? Austin Butler.
Austin Butler, that's what it is. Yeah.
Austin Butler. He does a phenomenal job as Elvis. Really, really just knocks it out of the park. And it's interesting. It's just visually entertaining, everything like that. The story kind of just makes it seem like black blues artists were cool with Elvis just like stealing their music. Like, what's up, Elvis? How you doing, man? Not they were like, hey, man, how come you're fucking profiting off of all of our shit? Like, what's up with that? And how he was like a big civil rights guy. I'm like, yeah, but you stole their music. Like, that's, right. I mean, it could be both. He's like, I love civil rights. But at the same time, like, I'm going to say, ain't nothing but a hound dog. Just going to take everyone's music for it. But it was enjoyable. They also gloss over the fact that Priscilla, his wife, was like 14 at the time when he started, like, seeing her, which was super gross in real life. And, they didn't really make a big deal about that. Because it was the 50s and 60s, I guess, where they're like, yeah, man, you do it. Woo! Tennessee! Da-da-do!
Yeah, that's love, man.
That's love, baby. Love hits you anytime you want, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Yeah, it's worth watching. It's on HBO Max if you have HBO, so I'd say, go stream the shit out of it, Get it. Get it in.
Get it.
Just like Elvis did. Mm-hmm. To a child. Okay, so if you want to follow us, check us out on Mind Gap Podcast on all our social medias. It's at Mind Gap Podcast. You can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mind Gap Podcast. Do us a solid. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. It means the world to us. And leave us a comment down in the comments below for the engagement. It means a lot. I mean, that's how those Butthurt Boys got our video. It got recommended because people were engaging with us. So engage with us. Tell us your favorite exercise routine. Tell us what you think about Elvis. I mean, tell us what you think about Roundabouts. What do you think? Are they great? Are they not? Just, I don't know, put your favorite emoji down there. I don't care. Help us out with the engagement. It means the world to us. Be good humans. And then follow Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's a fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Good Pods, all the places where you can find and consume quality podcasts. You'll find us. We'd love it if you could rate, review, share, all those things. One of the big ones, like engagement, is sharing. Let people know we exist. You can engage, and YouTube will let people know, or you could share yourself and just let people know directly. And then 2east8th.com and 2east8th on all social medias. And we are now starting to get a little bit more active on the Love and Improv Instagram page. So it's Love and Improv Film, all spelled out, one word, Love and Improv Film. If you could follow us on there and, share that around. We're going to be launching, hopefully very soon. We're just waiting for approval. We're going to be launching our fundraising initiative for it. as one of the ways that we're financing this feature film. But yeah, we've got a movie poster up there, and we've got a proof of concept teaser trailer up there to kind of give you a general idea of what the tone of the film is going to kind of be like. So yeah, Love and Improv Film. Please check that out on Instagram and Twitter and show us some love and improv there.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And if you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, and just remember, take care of yourselves and be good people. And with that, I want to say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chad, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week. Recording has stopped.
Ending recording.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. This was really fun. You know, I don't know if listening to us talk about our fitness stuff is exciting or whatever, but I don't know. I think it's important. And again, I remember hearing other people talk about it, which kind of slowly over time encouraged me to do it. So hopefully, if you were on the cusp or looking to find inspiration, hopefully we can help out with that. You know?
Yeah.
Be good to yourself. Be good to your body. Both emotionally and sexually. Take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Actually, Jared sent me I think it was a TikTok the other day where it was this guy goes, listen, all right, before I get started, I want you to know this is consensual on all parties. He's like, but all my friends and I, we have our watches linked together, and whenever we have relations with our wives or our girlfriends, we mark it down as wrestling, and we share it with all of each other. And at the end of the month, we get a report, and we see who went the longest, and who burned the most calories. And we see who's the best. And it made me laugh really hard.
That is funny.
Yes. I was like, that is very, he goes, for the record, again, everyone's on board. Our wives know we do it. Our girlfriends know we do it. Like, everyone is on board. They know it. And we just sort of like compare monthly reports to see how we're doing.
Gross and funny at the same time.
Yeah. It's very, very funny. Jill had a Fitbit for a while, and it actually had something in there where it's like, you know, you could log when you masturbated and when you were having sex, like just to be like, you know, what's part of your lifestyle and things like that. I was like, interesting. Takes into account. Slotty, thank you for arguing about Cheerios. I like Slotty because, again, he argues with style, with class, and he brings solid arguments to the table, and he calls me out on my bullshit, and I appreciate that. So it's good stuff. And hope you all enjoyed the earlier time. Hopefully that, works better for people, you know. Fingers crossed. I'm excited to go to bed at a decent time. So yeah, very excited about that. But that being said, I will see you all on Saturday for some What the Dub. Come hang out with us. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. And keep your eyes out for a really dumb short later this week. So until next time, y'all stay safe, be cool, and we love you. Bye.